Hello and welcome to MASO Talk, the podcast that brings you closer to decision makers and forward thinkers that shape the Eastern Mediterranean region and beyond. I am Xanthi, the Business Development Manager at MASO Strategic, and today's episode is dedicated to a company making a dynamic entrance into the Cypriot insurance market, Oneglobal Broking, a fully licensed Lloyd's broker with international reach and deep sectoral expertise. We'll be speaking with two of its key leaders to understand how they view Cyprus, what they bring to the table, and what lies ahead. I am honored to begin today's episode by speaking with Mr. Manos Sofronis, Chief Executive Officer of Oneglobal Broking for Greece and Cyprus, a leader with deep regional expertise and a strong vision for the Cypriot insurance market. Mr. Sofronis, welcome and thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for being in our offices.
Could you please give us a brief introduction of Oneglobal Broking, its international presence and growth strategy?
Oneglobal established in 2018 with the merger of two broking houses. One Lloyd's broking houses. One it was a marine broker where I came from, and the other one is a non-marine broker. Together, the acquisition is done between. I'm one of the founders, and another six partners with a private equity fund called JC Flowers. So JC Flowers is Oneglobal is a portfolio company of JC Flowers group. So we established in 2019 to create a dynamic boutique global broker. Oneglobal, it's operating from a headquarters in London, where the main insurance market is, and with another 12 regional offices. Cyprus for us is a very important market because we took a decision to run all our European operations out of Cyprus. So for license since the Brexit happened in 2020, Cyprus became very important because it's run all European license. That means that Cypriot office has the same legality for Europe with the London office. So Cyprus has its own Lloyd's license, and it was the first marine dedicated license will be given in that market. So we were very forward on the thinking at that time, and I could see that many of my competitors they follow that. Then after us, other companies going to Cyprus for licensing and establishing. My chairman George Tsavliris and myself were special love for the country. We have a lot of friends. George has ties over 40 years with for Cyprus. We employ on our office Cypriot residents. Majority our office in Cyprus today is looking the maritime field. But because of our expertise is going on the non-marine and beyond on energy and renewable, cyber and all that, we like to bring our technical abilities. We like to bring them into the Cypriot market.
That gives us a very solid foundation. Let's bring the focus to Cyprus now.
Yeah.
What attracted Oneglobal to invest strategically in the Cypriot market? I think we already.
Well, first of all, the insurance, the insurance minister, the insurance environment in Cyprus is quite solid. The establishment is very similar to London Market Financial Services Authority. So it was very similar for my investors and partners to see much different and straightforward. So it made a lot of sense for us to be there. We had options to go to Malta. We had options to go to Portugal, Luxembourg, but we choose Cyprus as the place. You know, George and myself have a strong vision, because the market there has been growing a lot. Although it has a few other competitors of mine that they are established there much longer for what we've been, but we want to bring our style of business, which basically we are dedicated boutique experts. So, and that's what we like to bring, the personal relationship. We are not a supermarket. We actually work very close with clients to try to deliver results. So Cyprus results. We have the visions. We're getting in partnership with the insurance market down there, try to deliver our financial lines, which basically I consider to be out of one of the best departments in Oneglobal. We do many banks. We insure many banks, both in Greece and globally. And we insure a lot of New York listed clients, or publicly listed clients, into the London markets for directors and officers, PIs, and that. We also, have other parts of that department, which is cyber transactional risks, which again we would like, and our colleagues from London, we will continue to do seminars down there, continue to do road shows to try to say we're not in a rush, but I think as a firm we have a lot to give. We have a track record of renewing and maintain business with no losses. So both our pricing and servicing considered to be one of the best in the market.
Okay. Building on what you said about Cyprus, where do you personally see momentum or untapped potential in the local insurance landscape?
Financial lines is definitely is the one that we have top market experts. Cyber, which is cyber insurance, becoming more and more popular as frequency of attacks is increasing. So, and we do a lot of banks globally, including Greece, some of the banks here. So we would like to work with that. We have a specialist run this department. His name is Peter Haka. He has the name as well for cyber. He's over 20 years experience on electronic crime, which then electronic crime became cyber. Mm-hmm. So he's considered to be one of the top specialists in that Lloyd's of London has to offer. He is a speaker for United Nations. He is advising banks in a case of cyber attacks. He's somebody that knows the business very well. So we would like to bring Peter as well to Cyprus, try to develop together. But we, ideally we want to work with insurance companies and banks that they can then retail the business. We like on these sides to do it on wholesale. Then after the financial lines, we want to introduce our renewables department, which they do everything from hydrogen, solar, wind farms, you need it. Somebody in the department that is very good. He runs very well. They have a large amount of clients, and a guy who runs it, his name is Richard Scott. So he actually used to work on wind farms, and his knowledge is unbelievable. Then is energy, our energy department, which can do onshore, offshore, mainstream, downstream, all the sides of energy. Although Cyprus has few power plants and electric power stations, maybe a gas station. We like to bring that, and anything we can. Property casualty, a little bit of property casualty, our property and casualty. London is becoming now quite competitive. Prices has been dropped, so maybe we for high value property deals we may be able to assist.
Okay. In terms of credibility, particularly as a Lloyd's licensed broker, what kind of confidence does that bring to your stakeholders in Cyprus?
First of all, I must admit, I'm very honored of our founder of the business, Christopher Flowers. He was the chairman of Goldman Sachs for many years since he started, since he graduated from Harvard, and he then created, after Goldman Sachs, he created his own fund called JC Flowers. There's a fund that it is boutique and majority investments. It's between financial sector, so either insurance companies or banks. He owns a lot of banks around the world, including Commercial Bank of Hamburg. And many other banks globally, and JC Flowers is a $15 billion fund. So the credibility behind Oneglobal is Christopher Flowers directly. Yes. So and the Lloyd's license, of course, the Lloyd's license, something I'm very proud. I've been working in the Lloyd's market since I was 22 years old, from London, being director on two previous Lloyd's broking houses, and now I am creator of one of the creators of Oneglobal and the founder of Oneglobal's Greece and Cyprus.
Let's move into something different. What makes you buzz? What is the one or two things that someone who has worked with you for a short amount of time or a long amount of time?
I like to create business. I like to be thinking out of the box. I'm very. I want to do stuff that other people didn't. Of course, we're talking legal stuff and not breaking the boundaries. There is boundaries, but we would like to look at the opportunity. So that's what's driven me. The business is driving me, and it's not the money. It's a business we like to create business, create products, found niche markets to get in. That's where Oneglobal it stands. I'm telling you, we have 200 employees globally, and most of them are fantastic developers. Most of us, we came for big broking houses that it took a maturity, and we created Oneglobal. A lot of Oneglobal employees came out of previous mergers and acquisitions that they didn't like the companies the way we're reforming, so they decided to take a creative positions at Oneglobal.
Okay. Let's move into product strategy. Which insurance lines will be the initial focus in Cyprus, and why those?
Financial lines, renewables, cyber, and energy. Okay. On the marine is global. We already insure more than 7,000 ships on partial orders. I don't know how many exclusive. In Greece, from this market, we have a percentage share of 1,000, a network of ships of 1,500 ships. So the market knows us. Either you are in Cyprus or Germany. So we now want to focus on the non-marine.
What types of clients or industries do you believe are currently underserved or represent the biggest opportunities?
I don't know what is underserved there, but we bringing expertise. We never touch a line of business just because of its commission. As I said to you, the Oneglobal focusing on servicing. So the people they run financial lines is run by Max Bingley. That he used to be on the second largest broker in the world, Aon. He used to run the financial lines globally. Has vast expertise with listings. Is someone that he can service the business, both for banks, insurance companies, large corporates. So he is, that department is one of the best I consider there in the market.
You've talked about your employees and the knowledge and the people months before. That means that you pay a lot of attention
Yeah,
to it. Would you
we
like to
do.
expand a bit on that?
Yeah,
On the culture?
we do. We do. Well, it's the culture. The culture, because Oneglobal it was the new kid in the block in the block 2019. My colleagues in London and senior partners, both Jonathan Palmer Brown and Mike Reynolds, they were both servicing for Jardine Lloyd Thompson, who was a very good, reputable broker. They were running that firm, so they knew the market a lot, so they took the top guys around the world, both in Singapore, Latin America. They took a very good crowd with them.
Okay.
I would like to thank you for coming in our offices, and
Thank you for having us.
looking forward to see you in Cyprus very soon.
Thank you for your time, your insights and clarity. It's been a pleasure hearing from you, the view on the Cypriot opportunity and how Oneglobal is preparing to serve the market.
Thank you.
And now I'm thrilled to welcome our next guest, a name that resonates across the maritime and institutional world. Mr. George Tsavliris, Non-Executive Chairman of Oneglobal Broking. Mr. Tsavliris, welcome to MASO Talk.
Good evening and thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Let's start with Oneglobal's DNA. From your perspective as chairman, what drives you every day? What drives you every day? What gets you up in the morning?
My childish enthusiasm for work. I've been involved in the shipping business since I was a young kid, or at least a teenager. We have an established company in the shipping market since 1939, which was established by my father. And I've been involved in all sectors of the industry, both the dry cargo shipping ownership. We have a large or fairly substantial salvage and towage company, which is emergency response. I've been an active Lloyd's underwriter since I was in my 20s. So effectively, I think I probably, as they put it in ordinary terms, I've seen the other side of midnight. I've seen all sectors of the shipping market.
Yes.
And I'm very enthusiastic about the shipping market. I'm passionate about shipping as well. Very passionate about the market in general.
What makes its global network truly influential in markets like Cyprus?
A couple of reasons. First of all, as you probably appreciate, the shipping market in Cyprus was established or was created literally in the late 50s, early 60s. So it's a very small island. It's been through a lot of trauma, a lot of drama, and that perhaps was the key factor as to why shipping in Cyprus expanded and actually amplified itself and became fairly professional and fairly admirable within a very short period of time. So effectively that also was my on a personal basis. I was attracted to Cyprus because we have been involved in Cyprus as business for many, many years. My father happened to be one of the first non-Cypriot owners to fly the Cyprus flag. That's in the early 60s. I've been involved in Cyprus in many other sectors. I'm chairman of the Cyprus Marine Environment Protection Association, which is concerning protection of the sea and the environment of the sea. I'm involved actively on the Cyprus Shipowners Union. So effectively, I think that our history, I wouldn't say it's not flamboyant, but it's very consistent. And it's been good. We have been involved there for many, many years, and enough to actually take a personal interest in the island in general.
Okay, you've had long-standing ties with Cyprus, and we've also got your view on the country's trajectory. How do you see the role of Cyprus evolving in the regional insurance ecosystem?
Cyprus, for a lot of reasons, is going to be much more significant as a shipping center than it has in the past. One basic reason maybe is because we have a political issue which we've been facing the last couple of years, especially with the Trump administration and with the Ukrainian war, where Europe may be on the verge of being fragmented. We're not quite sure as to Europe, the way we know it, the way it was developed, will actually have a future. And that effectively will be very challenging for all of us, including us Greeks here, and particularly in Cyprus. And we're going to see a different dimension to business, which literally the only way we can handle it is to follow Darwin's theory. And Darwin mentioned very, very clearly that the only way to survive and exist and progress in this world is not by being strong or by being intelligent, it's by being able to be adaptable to change. So effectively, it's the adaptability to change which I feel that is our priority. And we're handling it, I think, in a fairly progressive, and I wouldn't say successful, because that's other people to judge, but I think I'm fairly happy with it.
Okay. When entering a new market, visibility and presence are key. How important is thought leadership and institutional engagement when building trust?
Would you repeat your question?
How important is thought leadership and institutional engagement when building trust in a new market?
Well, look, a new market is the A to Z. I mean, let's face it, shipping or any company which you probably refer to or know, which exists in the shipping market, one of the predominant features or ingredients which is required is not the money or the cash or the wealth, it's trust. Credibility. Credibility is my primary and main personal asset. People talk about having material assets or, having assets which in general, but effectively at the end of the day, it's credibility. And in fact, on that particular point, going back to the definition of wealth, in modern Greek, being wealthy is a man who's basically has a lot of money, material assets, cash, ships, whatever. In ancient Greece, the word wealth was comprised of two words, plusios, plidis, ousias. And to be wealthy in ancient Greek, it wasn't just a matter of having a material assets or a lot of cash, but you had to have a lot of other ingredients, which was being cultural, having a cultural background, having a code of ethics, have been educated, have place in society. There were a lot of items on the menu for one to be able to decide whether you're wealthy or not. And in my mind, at least in our mind at least, my definition of wealth or my question towards wealth is the ancient Greek way. I'm not concerned with the fast money, the money-making machines of concerning the material assets, because material assets, as far as they come, they can go very fast as well. Credibility and the real wealth, as I say in ancient Greece, plusios, plidis, ousias, as defined in ancient Greece, is literally much more permanent.
Okay, so you talked about credibility.
100%.
Reputationally and operationally, what does it mean to be a broker that is part of the Lloyd's ecosystem for you as a chairman?
Lloyd, it's very basic for me because, first of all, I've been a Lloyd's underwriter for many, many years. So I was actively involved in Lloyd's for many, many years, since my early 20s. So I know how the market works. We've been through situations of seeing that there are a lot of brokers who literally, want to make the fast buck, if they say, which was never really our priority. In fact, I personally, literally, making money has never been a priority in my life anyway. Money is making or building up wealth was a consequence or being creative or being ambitious or literally being involved in the market. So from our part, it's fairly simple, really. We don't know any other world anyway. We deal with work because we're passionate about shipping. I personally happen to be very romantic about shipping as well, and I can suggest to you, a young girl, that shipping is perhaps in general is the only market which has developed on romanticism. There's been no significant ship owner or people or anybody who's been involved heavily in the shipping market who's not basically romantic. Mm-hmm. It's based on romanticism. Now it's not leading off the track or coming off the topic. It's also part of the way we work. We are passionate about what we do. We care about results. Our primary concern is to protect the client, irrespective of the material benefit at the end of it. As I've mentioned, it's insignificant. And it all comes down to the idea of being persistent, consistent, fair, and reliable. And that all comes down to people finding you have credibility.
As a chairman, and as someone who is inspired by the work that you do and by your company, which value or which values do you find that are more valuable for the people that work with you and for you to have? What would you say that it is the most important thing, that it is your mission to inspire to people that work for you?
The basic one is to maintain a code of ethics, to have a very strong code of ethics. Number two, just a small clarification or correction. I've got nobody who works for me. People work with me. Nobody works for me. We work as a team. Synergy is my second word. We use synergy in the office with our colleagues here. We're all different in terms of character. We're all different in terms of being on a different wavelength in the way we work, what we can perform. I mean, what Manos does, I can't do what he does. I can't do what Nicodemus does. You know, I've got the ability of that kind of insight. I'm too a lateral thinker, so effectively I don't focus on detail. I focus on the big picture. So, you know, I think basically we've got an ideal team. You know, we have that chemistry, which I think, in my mind, even though I've been involved with Oneglobal for a few years, but, you know, I'm having a lot of fun here. I think people around us will have a lot of fun. I think people who work with us, from what I see, as objective as I can be, they enjoy working with us because they see that we've got this, when I constantly use that term, this childish enthusiasm, because I think without childish enthusiasm, you can't really do anything in life. I mean, even an artist who's painting, he's have to be enthusiastic, or a musician who's playing an instrument, you've got to be enthusiastic, childish enthusiastic. Because the childish enthusiasm, if you've got that perception towards life, it also, you maintain sincerity. You can't be childish and be a diplomat. You can't be childish and literally maintain a strategy. Your strategy is okay for talking about them, but when you try to apply a strategy, you divert from a certain amount of consistency and sincerity. Somebody who can be a rough diamond sometimes, or maybe you hear somebody say something which you don't particularly like what you hear. I prefer to listen to somebody who I don't like what he hears rather than somebody who's going to come to me with a textbook situation, or textbook scenario, where he's saying something which he doesn't really believe. And we always do the way we work here, we say what we believe, even if it may be against our financial interests. We've had situations where something basically may not make commercial sense, and I say, listen, I believe we should do this because this is the right thing for you to do. Now, that may not be making money, but as I mentioned earlier, not everything in life is about making money.
Yes, it's about being authentic. And we all live our different, through different perspectives. Life is subjective, it's not objective. To wrap up, I'd love to hear your perspective on culture and values. Culture and values? What values do you believe Oneglobal should uphold as it grows within a market like Cyprus?
Without wanting to sound repetitive, we come back to the code of ethics. Another thing which perhaps comes into the equation somehow is that I happen to be very religious. And, you know, being religious is, okay, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody are. A lot of people who have diverted off the beaten track of being religious. But by having that feeling or that attitude towards life, you maintain consistency, you maintain fairness, you become a fairer person. You're there to do something which is fair, and being fair means that you have to look two sides of the coin. A fair deal is something which is correct for both people, but there's no perception of being an opponent. If you're doing a fair deal, you're not an opponent.
It's a win-win.
In fact, you're literally a partner. Even when I deal with people who I have a confrontation with, I never sit opposite the person. I always sit next to them, because even with problems, the first thing which should come to your mind is to delete the word problem for your mind and substitute with the word solution, because all problems have solutions.
And they are all opportunities.
Of course, and don't forget opportunities when you've got disasters or issues which will sometimes arise, is that we never go into a panic mode, because with every issue or every issue which arises in life, which can be a disaster, is also an opportunity. And let's face it, even being progressive in life, you can't be progressive without facing problems. I mean, I happen to be on a personal basis, I happen to be a seasoned marathon runner. I've done 10 marathons to raise money for the Cancer Trust for Children. It's through the hardship and aggravation of running a marathon that you learn more about yourself, more how you you don't give up. You never, ever give up. And that's also part of our attitudes. We've had clients which are difficult to get hold of or difficult to be able to work with. We don't give up. We're not heavy-handed or, as I say, over the top of being too persistent, but we're fairly persistent in terms of maintaining the effort.
Okay. Is there something else that you would like to discuss, to talk about, to add to the conversation? Something else that you find that it is very important for our listeners to...
Well, I'll tell you, I'll say one bit of spark, which I use fairly often, is that because I would presume these kind of operations really should focus and address the younger generation. The younger generation, I like to mention, first of all, that because a lot of them are tuned into by their educators or their parents, or being hardworking and literally being diligent in actually what they're doing. But one thing which I shouldn't be saying, but I will, because I've got 6 children, is you've got to take risks. Don't expect things in life to come like 2 + 4. That's not how it works. You've got to take a risk. If you believe in something strongly enough, take a risk, go for it. And
on a personal level.
Sorry?
On a personal level.
On a personal level. Otherwise, when you're dealing with your work professionally, there's no borderline there. Your personal level has to come into it. You can't put a boundary behind it. There's no barrier. It isn't integrated one of the two, both things, the same thing. And the other thing is a bit of advice maybe. Edwin Land, who's an American philosopher, the one who invented the Polaroid camera in 1904, and he mentioned the following: never undertake a project in life unless it is manifestly important and nearly impossible. If you get up in the morning and have that in your mind, you won't do too badly. You'll be going you're in the right direction.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And we wake up and it is as challenging as we've never thought it would be. So sometimes we give up, sometimes we go through it. So, Mr. Tsavliris, thank you for your thoughtful perspective and leadership insights.
It's my pleasure.
It's been truly valuable to hear from you, from Oneglobal's role in Cyprus and the wider region. To both our guests, thank you for joining us on MASO Talk, our podcast. Today's conversation offered powerful insights, a glimpse into what happens when global expertise meets regional vision. At MASO Strategic, we believe in facilitating meaningful partnerships, and today's dialogue with our chairman and with the CEO was a perfect example of that. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope this episode sparked new thoughts, opened new angles, and gave you a deeper understanding of Cyprus' evolving role in the insurance space. Until next time, stay connected, and we'll see you on the next episode of MASO Talk.